Hi everyone, I'm Mollie from Fab FODMAP, and I'm so excited. I'm here with August, hello, the founder of MALK, and we're going to talk all things FODMAP and MALK. So get excited. Yes!
So good to see you.
Okay, so I have to geek out and tell you remind everyone how we first met.
So fun.
So we were at Harry's Diner in Montrose in Houston, and I was at brunch with my husband and another couple, and I saw a table with people with bright blue sweatshirts with MALK written on it. And I go to my husband, I think that's MALK milk. And he said, oh my gosh, you have to go over there and tell them how this milk has changed your life.
So sweet.
And so I got the nerve and I came up to you guys and I said, I hate to interrupt, but I'm obsessed with your milk and thank you so much. And you were so sweet and kind.
Well, I mean,
and
you
it meant
were
the
the sweet
world
one to come over, but it really did mean the world to us. We were having breakfast with our dad, who was in from another state. And we do love the MALK hoodies. We need to get you one.
I need one.
They're so cozy. It's like the coziest hoodie. So my brother Justin and I both had on our cozy hoodies. We were just kind of tired listening to the family talk. And when you came over, it was just like, oh my God, this means so much because you work so hard.
Yes.
And to have someone come over like face to face and tell you, you know, you've made a difference, it just made all the world to us. And then for our dad to hear it too was great.
A little local celebrity, right?
Who are these guys?
I'm glad that I wasn't a weirdo interrupting
your
your breakfast.
You were so cute. You were. I remember you said, my husband had to force me to come over here. So cute.
It's so not like me, but you're a celebrity with your milk, so it was awesome for me. But I wanted to share for all the FODMAPers out there about MALK and how the story of how you came up with it. I just love it, and I think it would really mean a lot to other people.
Thank you so much. Well, the story starts quite a long time ago. I was born with a dairy allergy, and it was a severe one. And my parents had like very limited options, a lot of processed, mostly soy, and I experienced some health issues that other people in my family did not. So when I became a mom about 10 years ago, I was determined not to go the same route, and also not to kind of like guesstimate if our son had allergies or not. So we had him tested with a nutritionist, and he did in fact have a dairy allergy. So when it was time for me to go back to work and stop feeding him myself, I was looking for the best possible option, and really turned up with a lot of the same type of processed foods that my parents had to choose from. And I was like, nothing has changed. It's been a long time, right? Yeah,
I know.
It was pretty wild. So we went an extreme route, and we actually did feed him raw goat's milk from a family farm, because that's the most similar to mom's milk.
Yeah.
But we would have to drive and go and pick up.
That's not convenient. That's not easy to do.
Before that, though, we were making our own almond milks for him. As a growing baby and a working mom and a working dad, it was very difficult to make fresh almond milks on the daily.
All the time.
For a growing baby. But we did start with that, and we said, like, this is the most amazing, delicious thing we've ever tasted. We started with the recipe very similar to what MALK has today. It had, a little bit of salt and maple syrup, and, just looking at the shelf, we were like, why? We just made this at home. Why can't we find anything? Like, we had to go this extreme measure and go out to this farm and go, because we couldn't find anything store-bought that mimicked any way, shape, or form what we were doing at home.
Right.
So it was really disappointing, but gave me, the spark, like the idea, like either someone's going to come up with this or I'm going to do something about it one day.
Love that.
So that was 10 years ago almost, and MALK's been around for 4.5 years. So it took a little while, and I had, a career that I was nourishing, but I was working really hard for other people and thought, like, I have this great idea. I'm working really, really hard anyway, so why not work hard for myself and put this idea out there? There have to be other people like me that want something super clean and minimally processed, So I went begging to my family members. I have my cousin Joel, Canada, and my brother Justin, whom you met.
Yes.
I went to them and just said, look, you guys, I want to start this company. I'm working, and a mom and a wife. They were a little bit younger than me, and I said, this is the concept. Would you guys like to come on board and help me? Because I knew we would the idea was to start in farmers markets, but even at the farmers market level, as a working mom, and
you need help.
You need help. You can't. There's no way that I could have done it myself. And so they immediately jumped on board, and that was in January of 2014. We started the company. We started selling to, or actually giving MALK to local coffee shops where we had friends, and just kind of like saying, let's test this concept. What does everyone think? And people immediately just went crazy for it. So by June of that year, we were in farmers markets.
Oh my gosh.
And the first farmers market, we just kind of really didn't know what to expect. And we had a friend at a local magazine, actually called Local Magazine here. She was given MALK and just really, really enjoyed it. And so she wrote about it the week before our first weekend. And we got to the farmer's market, and literally within like 45 minutes, we sold out of the product.
Oh my gosh.
So then we were just standing
that
there
had to be
like,
the best feeling.
it was amazing. It was like, okay, we definitely
There's
are
something
onto
here.
something. Yeah. And we had, the name was already established. Like we had, the brand was already created, but just for farmers markets.
Yes.
We knew we wanted something that would stand out eventually on store shelves, but we wanted to start the buzz with the brand. So people were like, we're here for MALK, we read about it, or we heard about it, or my friend told me about it.
Oh my gosh.
So every weekend was just back to back, where we would sell out really quickly, and people started reserving. Like they would email us and reserve, like, I'd like to reserve 3 bottles. And by the time they would get there, we'd be like, we have 1 bottle. We can't hold on to it. Like, I don't know.
It's lotto system.
It was really amazing and so much fun and very different from today, obviously.
Very different, now available in stores.
Yes, nationwide. Crazy. So that's so wild. It was really fun.
I love that it was your baby.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it grew with your baby.
It grew with my baby. My baby is so huge now, and I look back at pictures from those farmers markets, and he was just so small and precious, and I'm like, wow, it's all kind of going
and
together.
And they've both grown together. I love that.
It's really sweet.
That's so great. So as someone who has food allergies yourself and your son, and I do too, I hear a lot of people who get frustrated with food and allergies. What do you say to someone who just feels down?
I mean, I think it's really tough initially, but I think once you kind of get your map,
yes, I love that.
Like
FODMAP.
Exactly, you kind of navigate what works and what doesn't work for you.
True.
I think frustration can be eliminated by keeping it really simple, and we try to do that in every aspect of MALK, throughout the company. Doesn't always work in every aspect because things can get difficult, but keeping it simple with what you eat is good for your body, and if you can just keep it simple, the frustration just kind of goes to the side.
I completely agree with you. And it's funny because I thought I was drinking lactose-free milks or FODMAP safe milks, and I'd be eating it with my cereal, and I'd instantly feel sick. Instantly. And it was so frustrating. And that's why I was so excited about MALK, because you look at the label, one, you can read the ingredients. There's nothing you can't pronounce, and there's no gums or fillers in it, which is sadly so different than what's on the market. Can you explain the cold press versus the heat press and what makes MALK so special and unique?
Sure. I mean, if you talk from the ingredients list, it all goes back to food processing is why, certain companies use certain ingredients, trying to extend shelf life, maybe not use as many raw ingredients and filling it up with something else.
Right, which is
gross. But, big companies have, this is a very competitive world, and everyone's pressed to improve their margins. And so what happens is it trickles down to consumers, right? It's unfortunate.
It is.
So for us, we decided we have non-negotiables, and there are a few non-negotiables. We will not add any additives to the product. We will keep it as simple and as homemade as possible.
Which I love.
Thank you. And we'll build a company and kind of back into some kind of profitability. And if it doesn't work from a profitability standpoint, we can't stand behind it. Like we won't negotiate on these things. And so we'll have to go about it a different way or figure out, if this is something we can do, because we can't get behind a product that's not filled with integrity.
Yes.
And that's kind of the staple of MALK. We start with sprouted, in your case, your FODMAP is restricted to pecan or almond.
Exactly.
So we start with sprouted nuts, whole nuts. They're all 100% organic. And sprouting, the process of sprouting is an overnight process that breaks down the nut so that you can absorb the vitamins and minerals more easily.
And it's easier to digest.
Which
is very important in my world.
Very important, yes. So a lot of other companies start with a paste form that's processed already and then further process it. So for people with digestive issues, it's really hard.
And you can tell a difference.
You can tell
almost
a difference.
Immediately.
Yes, for sure. And so then we go through, the whole process is cold, and through to our end process, which is a pressurized process. And what that means is MALK is very similar to what you make at home, meaning after you open it, you have a few, 5 to 10 days to drink it.
Which I love.
It's definitely a perishable product, right?
Yes.
Like it's fresh, it's perishable. And people have to get used to that because people have been trained at this point that you can just leave things out forever, and that's the way that the food system is and goes here, and that's really...
It's scary.
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre. If I don't see an expiration date, I get nervous. I want to know this will not last a few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... So MALK is a product that you definitely know.
Yes.
And what that provides, and the feedback that we've gotten from people like you, is there's an energy to it.
Yes.
You can feel that it's doing something for your body when you drink it. It's a living food. I don't like to say raw because there's a lot of stipulations around, raw and the definition of that and whatever, but it is the closest thing to a raw product.
Yes, and if you don't want to make it yourself, I bake and cook all the time, but I don't want to make my own milk.
It's a process, right?
And so that's what I have you for.
Well, thank you.
It's great.
Thank you so much. The caveat to that is that we have to kind of train the consumer that it does spoil.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it actually is a product that will spoil.
Yes.
And there are more and more products on shelf that are minimally processed these days. And so people are kind of making a shift to where they go, I want it. I want something that has an expiration. Yes. But, I think there's still a long way to go with people understanding exactly how your food is processed, right? And why it lasts so long. And what does that mean for your body, especially if you have digestive issues.
Exactly. You really feel the difference, the less products that is in something you're eating.
Well, and I mean, gums, it's just, if you just, at a high level, just process it in your brain. Like gums and your digestive system, it's just not...
They don't go together.
They don't go together.
They do not. And I know that firsthand, unfortunately.
Right.
But it's true, though, and a lot of people feel the same way.
And you're so positive and such a great role model for people experiencing these types of issues. We've talked, that I have a friend that has really serious digestive issues, is to put it mildly, and she's been on so many medications and none of it's worked. And it's like, to have you as kind of this shining, bright light of telling people it's possible and here's what I've done.
And I think being able to take food instead of medicine and be able to heal and feel better, you don't miss those foods.
Right.
Because you don't want to feel sick.
You don't want to feel bad.
And so it's worth it. And so I know I'm one of the many success stories or MALK lovers out there, but what is one of your favorite stories that you've had of someone reaching out to you?
I mean, actually, you coming up to us at Harry's
was
great.
That makes me happy.
It was so amazing because our family got to witness it. But there was another time, and there's been so much positive feedback, and that is definitely what keeps us going, because it's highly competitive, and there's been a lot of really, really hard times. But there's people like yourself. There was one gentleman especially when I would do demos or the founders would do demos. These days we're just not able to do that as much anymore.
Yes.
But when we are, it's so amazing to interact with people firsthand. Yes. And I had a guy that came up to me, and I saw him twice. And each time he came to me and said, I've been very ill, and I had some very severe skin issues because of treatments, and I didn't pry and ask what was going on. But he said, he said, I started drinking 1 bottle of this every single day, and it's the only thing that I could tolerate. And he said, my skin cleared up, and I feel alive again. And I was just like in shock. Like, wow. And it was pretty amazing. And he said, I've told everyone I know about this, and I just want you to know that what you're doing has energy to it, and I appreciate it. And I was just really like, I could tear up. Like just talking, just touched, so deeply by that,
And I'm sure for him, anytime you don't feel well, eating is not top of mind. And so when you're able to have something that's also nutritious and has good things in it, that's what you want. That's such a great story.
He was amazing. Yeah, it was really amazing.
I love that.
Yes. And so we get a lot of, sweet feedback, especially from kiddos. It definitely is what keeps us going, for sure.
And I think anyone with food allergies, you want to feel normal.
Right.
And that's at the end of the day is that I try to express that you can feel normal and feel better.
Right.
I'm so excited that MALK is available now nationwide.
Oh,
that's huge.
It's
so now
huge.
Everyone can find it.
It's huge.
Because in the beginning when I was first showing MALK and so excited, not everyone could find it. And now everyone can experience how great of a product it is.
It is really exciting for us, and that was kind of our vision, from the beginning. But getting there, it's kind of like, how do you navigate this system, and what do you do?
Exactly,
so
from the
exciting.
farmer's market to the grocery stores, that has to be a pinch me moment.
It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so what keeps you going? Do you have a motto or a quote?
I mean, there's several, but really keeping it simple is where we try to come back to center. It's like, let's not overcomplicate anything, and let's try to keep it simple.
Yes.
And I think that applies to all aspects of life. We overcomplicate things so much, We
really do. With food, with personal, with work.
Right. Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
I love it. Thank you, August, so much. It's been so fun.
Thank you so
much. And I
much.
can't wait to do recipes with MALK this week.
Thank you.
And just explain more about the diet. It's going to be really fun.
No, I'm so excited for people to learn, exactly what FODMAP is.
Yes.
And how, you can make a few shifts in your life and have a completely different experience.
Me too.
So thank you.
Thank you.